I like when we talk about so many good things in our community and so many things we can do better at. Last week we spoke about the children uh, earning big salaries now in the city and the difficulty to get them to contribute to the house, to the house bills. And somebody called me and spoke about the next stage in life for us. Most of us are here, we're first generation. The first time we're having families here. A lot of people send their children to private school. A lot of things haven't turned out the way Nigerian parents thought they would, the way our parents treated us and the way we treated them. Now, in terms of the next stage, are we, the Nigerians who form the diaspora, just going to sit down and be grandchildren, grandparents? Uh, the children will drop their kids with you, whatever they want to do, or are we going to take our pensions or anything, go back to Nigeria, travel the world, do whatever we want to do, and be telling the kids stuff like, if you want a babysitter, if you're going to bring your kids for me to look after, you're going to have to pay. Or you plan your own life so that when you're having children, you would also have a budget for a baby, sitter. Not that I raised you in the house, I went to work, I paid the rent, you felt that because I look good, I don't need any assistance. So it's good to talk to parents in the diaspora to say, what are you thinking of the next stage? Most of these kids are actually having kids now. What are our plans for ourselves based on what we have seen? Would you be the type to sit around and just wait to be a grandparent and babysit, or you have plans for yourself?
For me, when I retire, I'm going back home to Nigeria. I'll be my children, they know that. I'm not going to say any. I've spent a lot of time here.
They are planning for themselves.
They are the plan for themselves.
Yeah.
I've told them where they're coming because when I retire, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to stay here in this. I've tried to bear the cold, bear everything and everything. Besides that, I will enjoy my money, my pension better when I'm in Nigeria than when I'm here. But I always said that I see parents, grandparents who are looking after their children here because I've been in the community for a long time and I've seen there's so many here who look after their children.
I like the first part. And let me find out, Iman, what's your plans? Edwin is very blunt, and I think it's come from somewhere. What are your plans? Like,
Uh, it's almost the same thing. I've already told my family from the get go that when it gets to a certain time, once you guys are settled, I'm going back to Africa, back to Nigeria. And yeah. And with the grandchildren, if the grandchildren come before I go, that's fine. I'm going to help out as much as I can, grandchildren. But one thing I've told them, I'm not going to do school run grandchildren. Like, you pick my child, you drop my child. If I'm home on the weekend, you bring them, we can all be together. But school run, not on the table.
good. It's nice to have a woman in this discussion. As a woman, what do you think of? You think you want to go and enjoy your life? Because I believe we've only just found ourselves, if we have, in terms of what we want to do with our lives, being in this country. What is your next stage? Grandkids, or you got plans for yourself?
So I've not really thought so much about it, to be honest, because I'm still, very much in the thick of it. For my youngest is about 7, so I'm very much in, just getting by. But if I had to think about but I have dreamt about my ideal future, and I've seen some communities that live the way I would have loved to live, and so um, there's a community in America where they all bought their houses on the same streets, and so the grandchildren all grew up together, and they literally all run into each other's houses together, and they all um the parents do group, school droppers, school pickup, and everything like that. So I would, if I had a magic wand, that's the kind of life I would wish for my children. I would love my grandchildren to how do I say it? I like to be the support system that I didn't have for my daughters. I wish I had a place where I could drop my children, where I know that they'll be nurtured properly, well fed, well cared for, and all of that. But at the same time, too, I'd also want to step back and just chill, enjoy my retirement. But I'm looking at family back home, and it's still a struggle, though. So I'm still trying to figure out what the best thing is for, because I have aunties that are in their 70s, and they're very boring. There's not a lot, that they actually do. You know, it's Nigeria is a very ageist, society as well. Back in the days,
They used to
elders used to
parties, a lot of
elders
parties.
apart from after parties, what next? Like here, what do the older people do? If you travel to Spain or the other countries, that's what they're all doing. They go hiking, they go traveling. They sustain the tourist economy in many of all those other countries. That's the kind of aging I want to have. Not sit down somewhere, go to be an elder in the church, sit down on the high table for wedding. They bring me one bottle of brandy, and then doing Nigerian weddings every weekend. I think there's more to life than that. So I think I'll find more fulfillment where mine are,
Yeah.
where my children are.
You see, I was going to say, and I like what you said, because I think I do find it, even when you say you go, I think the women will find it more difficult to detach. But if you see what is going on in more homes now, that the children are not helping the man. They're not. They're big children. They're doing their own thing. They're not looking at the man. The man is working and working. You can understand why the man is saying, I take my retirement.
You know what? I went for this party one day. My mind was blown. There were about 30, 20 guys sitting down, and they were all talking, and 95% of them said they were going home. And they were all saying, if my wife wants to stay, let her stay. I'm going home. But they already set up that, but then also they were thinking about going back and saying, if she doesn't want to come, I'll marry a new wife there. I have my pension. I'll be living my life, because she's already. In fact, once that I even traveled to Nigeria, by the time I came back, my room where I keep my things, they were already, rearranging it. Like they had plans for the room. Human's already, doing her own thing, and he's like, "Ah, I don't even fit into this space anymore. Like I don't even know who I am here, But a lot of men are thinking in that direction, and so it feels like it goes back to the whole point of when the marriage wasn't great. To that point, it feels like after the children are raised and grown, there's like a division where you go your way, I go my way.
Edwin,
But I think this is a place where aging is very interesting. I think I'm here for some time, and I work in a community. At 75, we are still drawing trolley to go shopping. And we are there. My former house, there was a lady there. The husband passed, and she was there by herself.
the kids
Because
don't.
the kids don't come.
phone, they don't text. They don't.
One was a wet man, the other one was a Nigerian lady. She died in her house. When I see her, time we go to shop, I will help her carry a trolley. In the cold, I don't want, and I see men who have to drag these things. I don't want to do that. I want to be in a situation where I be in a place. Let me tell you something. When I went to Nigeria 2 years ago, because I've started thinking about this retirement, I visited 8 of them that I know because I've been in community. I visited people in Warri, visited in Owo, Akure, and in Benin, and one in Lagos. And then, great. It was then I began to understand how much you earn. And then these guys live a life that is worthy. And they have extended brothers and sisters who want to stay there and who still look after them. And they are very generous with the money. And everybody's happy. And there's none of them, both women. I saw 5 women, not ladies. Yeah. And that's 3 other men. So they're just happy going there. So what I saw there, and then when I went to Warri, I saw the other guy with fisheries and everything. Do you think just to find where to go? I kind of enjoy that kind of life. My other friend is in Lagos. It's like me. I like traveling. If I tell you place in Nigeria, when I was in Nigeria, that I know people don't know. Even in Edo State, Kogo Sea, in like Ondo State, Warm Water Spring, Kogo Sea, and all that. People don't know those areas. Come to Cattle Ranch, come down to this. Go to Yanka. There are lots of places.
Yeah, you gave
Make
me
people don't know.
okay, good.
Thank you.
I like what Edwin said. Emmanuel, is this? Let's not be scared because from when we were talking, even talking weeks ago, talking about our children, talking about the Ghanaian boy that report, you can sense there's a fear of everything in the African community. We can't say the truth, even if it's going to happen to us. You know, the future in the Nigerian diaspora for us, the generation who really formed the diaspora. Do you see more the way this conversation is? The men are going to Nigeria, regardless. The women, their attachment to their children would not allow them leave. Is this the first part of where we're going? This is more likely the truth. The people ahead of us now in the diaspora, this is what they're doing. If you see Nigerian men in their 70s or their 80s, if we could take statistics of how many came like us, a majority of them are at home. It doesn't matter whether you are from, whether you're anywhere you're from. A majority of them, I hope. Is this what we are going to walk into?
Well, yes, we're gonna go home. People are gonna go back home. Women are more attached to their children, like you rightly said. So it's a case of a planned return, and for couples, because most of the time you hear the men saying, "If my wife is not gonna come, she can stay." But it's easy to say that when you're at a party. I mean, if you had a good relationship with your wife, you must make a proper exit plan. Like, okay, I go, set things up, then you can come, or we can come and be going both ways. Because the children, we don't even know if they're ever going to come back to Africa. Yes, so we have to, what's the word I'm looking? Yeah.
Look after ourselves.
Look after ourselves. And let us say that we might, some of us who are saying we want to go, we might stay. Not me, because
we might go and come back.
Yeah,
Of them are gonna come back.
Yeah, exactly. So we go and come back, and some people cite reasons why you should come back, health, medical, and all that. But I don't see it that way. If I go there, you can look after yourself there. You can die anyway anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Good. Women, thank you tonight. You have really, spoken well and defended Nigerian women. Do you see most Nigerian women staying here? It's okay to say it now. Even if you was to look at the ones that have gone home now, Edwin, amongst the ones you went to see, the ones we know, is it okay to break your marriage? Is it okay to let your man go and live in Nigeria and you say you will stay here? Do you not think many women will go home with their husbands?
I mean, it's really all depend. I think this is one of the reasons why it's so important to build a strong marriage. To always have the marriage as to understand that was the reason why you both got together was for companionship to the end. The children are only part of the journey, so that you don't lose yourselves in the journey, and then you get to the end of it and you realize that you guys are not on the same path. So I think for anybody listening, really make sure that your marriage is strong, because if it is strong, there is no way one is going to want to leave the other. You know what I mean? So they are always going to see, look, what is in our best interest for us as one unit. And so if the husband is able to bring up a better argument that, their pension is going to go further back home, they already have a house there, blah, 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 she's more likely to work with that. But if she knows that the marriage already was in a very unhealthy condition, it's very difficult to get both of them to go back there, because it's going to be worse there, because she knows she's probably going to have the weaker hand there. Exactly. So she's going to be thinking about herself as well. So it's important to maintain the quality of the marriage to the end and really, really, really take that very seriously. That being said, though, with the children here, I understand all of the sentiments around, the fact that they don't call, they don't do all of that. But a time will come, if they are still here, where they would, when they start going through it, especially when they start having children. A lot of us know these things. Is when we actually started going through, our parents went through, that we realized, whoa, was this what it was? And I think mothers want to be there for them at the time when the children come round. Because it's not easy at all. doing the childcare.
Yeah.
A lot of marriages, if you look at it, break down under the pressure of just childcare alone. So if me staying can help take the pressure of that marriage by saying, well, bring them over for the weekend so that the couple can go and have a good time, I'm doing it for their marriage. It's not just about me spending time with my grandchildren.
It's a
It's to
woman.
protect that home.
You speak like a very good woman. You understand? You speak like, because men, just in our nature, and from when we're all along this conversation this evening, the pressures on the man, from a very early age, and the only time we have for ourselves, especially those who have come to this country, is when we finally, retire. You understand? And I'm more with the gentleman. I really think we need that time. I feel for our Nigerian women, because this one, now I have to give it to them. I didn't think there's enough left in the gas in the tank. You understand, for the for the children to put their own, on it, and see. But ultimately, I see the men going. I see a lot of men going, and I really think that is the future for us. But Edwin, let us talk the reality. Maybe 50%, that will be the end of the marriage, because the man will not stay there on his own.
Well, it's true. You see, women are emotionally attached to the children there. The woman can even go to the son-in-law house where the child have a baby, what they call a mugu.
Yeah.
I spend some time there. The man cannot do that. The ego of the man will not let the man go to his in-law's house and be sleeping weeks in, week out.
We can't.
It's not going to happen. So, like you, case I just said, people go home. I've seen about 2 of them are there with their wives, because one, the wife retired before him, and the other one, well, the man retired, the wife retired, because there are some good women. The woman said, wherever the man going to be, that's where you be. You married me, you brought me from back home. Now, I'm not going to allow you to go back at this age. Who is going to look after you at this age? But there are some other one who got there. The wife says she's never going to go back. And the man got there married.
Mm.
And have a child with the
New wife.
woman they have. That one run at the house. I wish that's that correct.
Yeah.
I know I run around. By the time the wife here, after 5-6 years, the man has left. Then the woman went back home to go and meet the man. The man said, there's no space for you. Because I begged you to come in. And the children who supported their father, I said, because their mother said she was not going to go back to their father in Nigeria. So, like you said, there's no cast iron in marriages. But we have to begin to look after ourselves. The children they can look at, like you said yesterday, they may not even come to these houses. The mansions you are building at home, who is going to stay there? Cockroaches? I want not there, they put their body there. No.
So wouldn't you want to have a life, where you spend time with your grandchildren? Because
I'm not going to say, they will come and visit.
They can come and visit. I think
I don't know how much the ticket price is.
I know, hopefully, what my pension is. I know what the pay. I know what I have.
Yes.
I want to see all of you. I want to see all of you.
Come on.
And also,
It's just
when we're having children and taking them back, we pay. My parents didn't pay for me to bring my children back to Nigeria. So if they want to come,
they come.
they come. Or if I come, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
They wait for me. When I come, I see them.
Yeah.
But if they want to come,
But I want them to come and see me back home.
yeah. And the parents should be ready to buy the ticket.
Yes.
And
So what was the whole point?
If I have the money,
I can buy the ticket.
So sorry, hold on. What did you say? You say who was?
So what was the whole point? What was the whole you have children, raise a family all about? It was not all about having a legacy, seeing your own grow, spending time with them. Also, my grandfather had a very big influence in my life. I spent a lot of time with him. He was always around. But now, you've put in all the work, you've raised children. Was it just to raise them and then turn your
Was that in Nigeria or here?
No, it was here. It was in Nigeria.
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying that we here now, what was the whole point of going through all of that, having children, if it wasn't all about a continuous legacy?
You were saying that what's the whole point of the legacy and continuation?
Yes.
When I was raising when my children were younger, we used to take them back to Africa to meet their grandparents. And they had a relationship with their grandparents. Now, amongst those grandparents, the mothers, the grandmothers used to like to come. The grandmothers didn't bother to come to England as well, to come. So they knew, they met them on both sides. We used to buy the tickets for the children to go and get to know their roots. Yeah. So if I'm in Africa, Nigeria today, tomorrow, my children, I hope I've raised them properly, they will say, oh, well, their own children to have a relationship with their father. So, Dad, we're coming to see you, and bring them down. Then they get to know that side of their life.
Yeah,
that's the way.
I think that's the purpose that the Nigerian men in diaspora would serve, because without them going home, there's every tendency that the grandkids would never know anything about. The link would cut off, totally. I don't see, we have seen these children. I don't want us to be thinking that the way we always do, say, not my portion, mine will be different from yours. Everything they're doing is saying, they won't text you. They won't even text you for months. This town will do it to you. I'm not proud to say it.
They'll keep you in the nursing home.
They keep you in the nursing home. These things are scary for us to think about. You understand that this is what's in front of us.
Yeah. Let me add another scenario quickly. We used to talk about our future, like, oh, when we die, I want to be buried in Nigeria. Or if we die here, make sure you take my body back home. And people say, oh, what about your children? How they got the grave and all that? I said, even if the grave was in their own backyard,
yes,
they will not come and put flowers.
They won't.
It will be overgrown.
They won't.
Maybe the odd child, one,
yes,
I will remember. But generally speaking, from what I've seen in this country,
correct.
Yeah, a family of 3, 4 go to their father's grave 3, 4 years later. It's just overgrown. Only one child, the one who lives in Australia, probably, that will come every 2 years and do it again. The ones who live close by is like,
yeah.
So those are the realities, in my opinion. The reality is reality.
It's true.
There's no guarantee.
No, but
like Edwin said, he wants to go and look after himself.
It is. There's more. Even me, I'm leaning that way. So I'm asking other women, the Nigerian women. I can see, you. I don't. Let us even ask ourselves, how many Nigerian women do we think will uproot and leave their children based on even what we are looking at now? I don't think many.
No, I feel like it's an individual thing. There's definitely lots of women who will move back. I think it's just a matter of what you think is important. And honestly, these conversations, these things evolve. I think she might think about it like this now and ask her the same question 5 years later. She's saying a totally different thing. So I can't say that my response is for all of Nigerian women, but all I'd say is that Nigeria as a country needs to be a little bit more. It's more. How's the word? It serves a man better. You understand? And that is probably one of the reasons why women are not so open to the idea
of returning
back, because it is built in the man's favor, and even survival in the Nigerian society is only the fittest, which in many cases is the man.
Yeah.
So let's make the society more kinder towards women. Have more, have electricity, have better roads, have more amenities. That's what the women actually want to have.
Yeah.
So that we can bring more of our women back home. That is the work that if you're going back to do, please go and tell them that they should prepare for our women to have a soft landing. Because we are in other women's land, because their country has created a nice place for them to retire in.
I think she spoke, there's a full stop to that. You want to add anything else?
No. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Fact, you understand?
I think it's more about the likelihood that, I think generally this conversation just opens up another angle where we're just saying that there is a cry for our land to be healed, really.
Yeah.
Because in no right, this is how we live is not right, where half of us are flung all over the continent and we're all economic migrants. Displaced, really, exactly. That's the word. We're all displaced for that reason. It shouldn't be so.
Yeah.
So for that reason, it's hopefully the plan is that if I'm there the children can, they might be happy to come back to Nigeria.
Yes.
And then you have our
Form
little
our
kid
get back,
exactly.
reconcile the family.
Exactly. So we shouldn't, it's not, that this is the reason why the world is where we are today.
Yeah.
We're no longer, it's also individualistic. The more we're all fragmented and segregated from each other, it should not be like that. What's the whole point of family if we're not together? So the point is that if the land is good, then the children can come and they can see Nigeria and say, actually, this is a place that I would like to
stay.
stay.
Not just to visit my grandparents.
Yeah.
I would like to start here.
Exactly.
It's true.
It's a big event.